Hi everybody, this is a video to show you how to take through Design Space all the SVGs that you get to create the new flower display boxes. You get three different sizes and all the flowers to go and leaves to go inside them. So I think I'll show you the flower boxes first, and that one, flower box large. Okay. Now then, today is the 25th of January 2023, and I've just turned on Design Space and discovered that externally imported SVGs are not coming in at the right size today. Don't know if that's just a glitch on my system. I don't think it is. I've uninstalled and reinstalled and it's still happening. But this happened before. About a year ago this happened, and since then I've always put in my instructions details of the sizes that SVGs should come into Design Space at. So this is the flower box large, and I know that this should be 48.52 wide. So all I'm going to do, you can see it's only 26.9, so it's way smaller. So I'm just going to lock that padlock there, and into the width I'm going to type 48.52, and I'm going to hit tab, and it automatically puts the height right as well. So there it is now, it's the right size. By the time you're watching this video, there may have been another update and this will have been sorted out. I really hope so. But meanwhile, this is what we have to do. Okay, so that's the right size. It's as if we were starting from normal now. So with any multi-part cut SVG that has score lines, the first thing you have to do is convert to scores the lines that come in as cuts but need to be score lines. So in my SVGs, they always live in this first group in the layers panel, the second line down. Now, if there were more pieces in this SVG that had scores, that would be a group and there'd be several lines, just like there are in this group below. But there's actually only one set on the base piece of the box. So we just click on that, second line down in your layers panel, go over to your operations menu, click on basic cut and go down to score. And you can see that those lines have been converted now. If there were more parts than that that had scores, we would have to ungroup here, but we don't because there's only that one. But we do need to ungroup this second layer, which contains all the coloured cut pieces. So again, you're just going to click on the name of the group. It selects everything in it, and we need to ungroup. And a final step, as always, for any multi-part SVG with scores, a third ungroup. So now you click right at the top of your layers panel to select that final group that the SVG is still in. It selects everything on screen and you ungroup a last time. And now what we need to do is attach the score lines to the pieces that they relate to. Now these two pieces, which is the front and the back of the box, no scores on there, only scores on this base section. So the quickest way to select it, I think, is to click on canvas somewhere close to it, drag a box to enclose it and hit attach. I'm working on the desktop version for PC, and that's at the bottom of your layers panel. If you're on the mobile app, it'll be somewhere else. And that's that. So that's pretty easy. And now if we click make it, we can see, let's just have a look down here. Yeah, it lets us choose A3 for the front and back pieces, but it doesn't let us choose A3 for the long base and side section. So let's just go back to the canvas and see how big that actually is. Yeah. So an A3 sheet of paper is 42 centimetres long, and this piece that we need to cut out is just under 41 centimetres long. So it will definitely fit on a piece of A3, and you're going to use the long mat. So let's just click make it again. So don't worry that your only choices are all these really, really large things. Just leave it at that. Say yes. Actually, you'll probably pick, yeah, you'll pick this middle one, which is the long mat. Yeah. And then it doesn't matter what paper you put on it. You're going to put A3 paper on it. You don't even need to drop it down because it will fit. But if you're concerned at all, just drop it a couple of millimeters down from the very top grid line on your mat. But you've got 10 millimeters to play with, so you really don't need to. If we go here, that's where 42 is. It's well under the final cut in the piece. So just tell it you're using the long mat, but put A3 on your mat and it will work. Okay, that's the biggest flower box large. I'm not going to cut it, I've got lots of them. So now I'll bring in the tall one. So this one is the same height as the large one, but it's much narrower. And again, yeah, it's tiny. Okay, so padlock is locked. I know this one should be 39 centimeters wide. They're coming in really small. And how tall should it be? 54.8. Yeah, 54.74 will do. Okay, so again, we're going to click on that second line down in your layers panel to select the score lines that need converting. Over to your operations menu, click on basic cut, go down to score, and there they are selected. Then we need to ungroup the colour cut pieces, so we click on the name of the group that they're all in and press ungroup, and a final third ungroup of the whole SVG. You can select that if you want by using the select all button or dragging a box dragging a box around it, Illustrator peeping in there, or using Control A on your keyboard. That'll do the same thing. I just prefer to use a layers panel because I'm working in it anyway. So there you are, that third and final ungroup. And again, like the flower box large, these are the front and back pieces, no score lines. The only score lines you need to attach are on this base piece. So click on canvas somewhere near it, drag a box to enclose it, and attach. Okay, let's press make it and see what happens. So you are going to still have to choose A3 for the front and back. And let's have a look at this base section now. Yeah, that easily cuts from A3. It's a much shallower piece. So 3 A3s to make the flower box tall, narrow. Okay, so I'm not going to cut it. Get rid of that. And now I'll bring in the short one. Is that the short one? Flower box large. I should have made them different colours, shouldn't I? There's the short, narrow one. I might do that before you get it. Okay, and this one, flower box short. Now look at that. That's coming at the right size. How strange. That's exactly the right size, 39 centimeters wide. So again, all we need to do, select the layer that holds the scores. That's always for my SVGs anyway. I'm tripping over myself, aren't I? The second line down in your layers panel. So click on that, go over to your operations menu, choose score from the drop down list. Now we need to ungroup the layer that holds all the coloured cut pieces. So select on the name of the layer and choose ungroup, and that final third ungroup there with everything. So again, these are your front and back faces to the display box, and this is the only piece that has score lines. Click on canvas somewhere near it, drag a box to enclose, and click on attach. Now then, let me just click make it. I think we need to do something. I'm going to choose A3. Yeah, right. So I want those. They will cut, you see, from... Yeah, that's fine. You can leave it like that. Don't know what I'm thinking about there. They will cut from A4, won't they? Yeah. Front and back faces. And this one, I'm going to choose A3 so that it puts, for goodness sake, these two on A4. So there's your front and back face to the box. And that piece there, which is the base and the sides of the box, it's telling us that we need A3. But I'm just going to go back to the canvas and show you something. So if you were cutting this, if you wanted to cut this whole project from 12 by 12, 12 inches by 12 inches card, you've got 305 mil, 30.5 centimeters to play with, and this is 29.8. When I was making this box, I cut it from 12 by 12, and I just don't know though if you can get away with this little hack on the newer machines, because I think they test the mat that you're putting it through on. So if they don't let you say, yeah, I'm using the long mat, but then let you put the short mat in like you can on the original Maker and the Explorer 2s, you will have to use the long mat. But you can cut that piece from a sheet of 12 by 12. Just drop it a couple of millimeters down from the very top edge of your mat and it will work. Otherwise, it's if you've no 12 by 12, it won't fit on A4, unfortunately, so you'd need a sheet of A3. But A4 for the front and back. Okay, I hope that's self-explanatory. I think I'm burbling on a bit, but anyway, we'll plough on. Right, so those are the 3 boxes. You also get in this SVG a little envelope and a gift card to go inside it. So I'll bring the envelope in now. This is a very sweet little envelope template. And you know how when you get those flowers, there's quite often a little plastic holder with an envelope in it and a card inside. That's what this is. So again, you're going to click on that second line down in your layers panel, and you can see that for this one, it does select a group. That's because for some reason I haven't made those a compound path, but it doesn't matter. So you just click on the name of the group, go over to your operations menu, choose score. Again, it's a single piece file, so here we don't need to ungroup anything. All we need to do now is select the whole thing and attach. Let's hit make it and see what happens. Yeah, so if you choose A4, it switches it round and does that. But I do hate wasting paper. 15.4. Oh, you may not get 2 on a height, will you? No, that's 300. Yeah, so you can get 1 from an A4. You'd get 2 from a 12 by 12, I think. Let's just see. Yeah. I'll just show you how you would do that if you wanted to cut 2. You go to your second mat, you click move, choose that mat. And there you can see that there's loads of room on a 12 by 12 for 2 of those. So 1 from A4, 2 from 12 by 12. You'd easily get 3 from A3. You might even get 4. But we won't bother doing that because chances are you're only going to be making one of these very time-consuming bouquets at once. I can't see you making these on an assembly line. Okay, so that's the little envelope. Where's the card? There's a little card that you get that goes inside it. Let's see what size that comes in at. That should be 9.2. You see, that's coming at the right size. How peculiar. Right, and also all you would do there is you'd just click make it. Nothing fancy to do there. You'll cut that from a scrap of something or other. I'll just let you know that if you don't want the little heart cutouts in it, just select the piece, go to contour, click on the hearts, and you can get rid of them. Oops, must have missed those 2. There, and so you just have a little card, and that's perfectly sized to fit in that envelope I just showed you. I'm not going to cut that, so we'll get rid of it. What else have we got? Right, the flowers, I'll bring those in and just talk a little bit about those. So this is flower 1. All this information is condensed into the instructions that you get with this project. They are big instructions, but it is a big project. If you've got time, I would really look at them before you start actually cutting anything or deciding what you're going to use, because I try and give as much information as I can to help you. So, where's that SVG? It says we brought it in. Where is it? There it is. What had I done there? Okay. So we will just ungroup it. This is I think it's called a sepal, is it? I'm not even sure how to say it. A sepal? A sepal? It's the green bit that goes underneath the flower at the back. And these are the petals. And I've put them in this arrangement so that if you're cutting from A4, you can click attach, and then when you send it to make it, they just fit nicely. On an A4, it's telling us they don't, but they absolutely do. Yeah, 20.1. But what you could do is let's just we'll just detach those, and we can just again I thought I'd set that up right in the SVG. Maybe I hadn't. I will make sure that they fit on A4 without you having to do anything like this, because they for sure will. How big's that? Yeah, look at that. Easily fits on A4 or letter if that's what you're using. But because these are flowers and you're probably going to be using just some paper or some slightly heavier paper, it's probably going to be A4, isn't it, or letter. So that's why I've done them like that. If you want, they go down in size. So top left is biggest, one next to it is slightly smaller, then there, then there. So it goes 1, 2 across, 3, 4 across, 5, 6 across, and then 3, 2, 1. You'll see again when you get your instructions, it tells you exactly what to do. You don't have to use all the petals for every flower. You can get a different look by just using a few or only using the big ones. And of course, you can make the flower as big or as small as you want. You don't have to make it at the size I've brought it in. So that should be, flower 1 should be 20.1. Oh, but I've just moved it about, haven't I? Yeah, so I'm going to have to change that. Don't worry about that. It will be right when you get it. This has just been such a massive project to try and sort out, but it will be, all the information in the instructions will be right when you get it. So that's that. So that's one flower, one sepal to go underneath, and all the petals that attach to it. And again, as I say, you don't have to use all the petals if you don't want, but if you do, they will fit nicely on an A4. Okay, so that's flower number 1. Let's bring in flower 2, which is this dahlia type one. That should be 16.2. Well, how weird. How weird that some of these are right and some of them are not. That's odd. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it. We haven't got time, have we? So again, if we ungroup that, there's the sepal, whatever, for underneath. And if we attach those and hit make it, they fit nicely on an A4. So again, one flower to an A4, but again, you can resize it, you can cut fewer petals if you just want more delicate flowers. When you see the instructions, you'll understand what I'm talking about there, and when you see my photographs, you'll understand it as well. I'm not going to cut it, so I'll click cancel. That was flower 2. Bring in flower 3, which is this one. Slightly sort of a celandine type. So this one only has 6 petals. It's a much more delicate flower, and because of that, you might just want to let that go where it wants to go and then rearrange it on your mat, because as you can see, you can really slot those together and maybe fit a few more petals on the page. Yeah, you could probably get quite a lot more on A4 doing it that way. Yeah, okay. But you can do that easily. That's how to do it. You could either do it like that on your mat, or if you want to be sure of what you're getting and where they cut on your A4, you can bring a shape in, send it to the back, make it, unlock this because we want to change it to A4, so 21 by 29.7, and then you could bring your petals over. Because when I'm cutting these, I like to know which petal I'm using. So I like to know that that's the biggest, that's the second biggest, that's the next biggest, that's the next biggest, and so on, because I find it really helps me when I'm putting them. It just saves you comparing them. You can tell by comparing them once you've done it. But if you do that, then you would probably fit that twice. Let's just have a look. I wish you could deselect like you can. Yep, it's not going to let me do it, is it? Right. Sigh. Let's just attach those. Nope. Attach those. Oh no, it's way too tall. Yeah, no. So you still only one on A4, so I would actually just attach it in the arrangement I had it. Unless you're going to spend a lot of time interlocking those. Just depends how frugal you want to be. But anyway, that's the celandine one. That's pretty easy. And again, there's a sepal that goes with it. You'll understand when you read your instructions. I'm not going to cut it. So now, what was that? 1, 2, 3. This is flower 4, I think. A slightly sort of hellebore looking one. I really like these actually. These are a little bit different because in addition to choosing the rolled up stamen, which you'll have to choose for all the other flowers, to attach it to the stem. Again, you'll understand when you see your instructions. This also has a little flat stamen piece that goes on the back of the rolled up stamen. They look really lovely made up. So that again there is a whole flower. You can make it as big or as small as you like. And it should come in at 8.26. 8.27 is okay, good. So if we hit make it, yeah, easily. It might be an idea for some of them to just duplicate as many flowers as you want and then hit make it. But the difficulty with that let's just say we wanted those, is that then when you send it, it's going to really mix up your petals and you might not know which are the right size. And if you're making a lot, you'd have a lot of comparing to do. So you need to think about that when you're cutting your flowers. It's the same, whose ever flowers you're cutting, you need to know what arrangement you're going to make for them. That's the only time-consuming thing about making flowers, isn't it? Sorting all the petals out. That was flower 4, and now flower 5 is not really a flower. Have I even got that in my... This other flower, yeah, it's there. How do I get back to my canvas now? It never did that before. Why can't I get back to it now? I can never get back to it without adding another image. That's strange. Tell me in the comments how to do that. So this, even though it does look, it is a leaf really. It's based on a lovely house plant called Oxalis triangularis is this. There's a word. And they are actually leaves, but because they're so pretty, and I think if you cut them in a really contrasting colour to the rest of your display, they can really add something to a display. I've called them a flower. When I made my spring display, I cut these out of purple and they look gorgeous. So this one I haven't stepped up at all. It is just like that, and you will, in terms of assembling your display, you'll treat it like a leaf. Again, when you read your instructions, you'll understand that. So you can just see how big that is, and cut as many as you want, as you think you might need. So that's dead easy. So we've done all the flowers, and now we've got the leaves. I think they're in here, but you know what? I'm going to bring them in because it's way too complicated doing it the other way. So leaves, leafy. They're all sort of a similar shape. They're slightly chrysanthemum-y, aren't they, I suppose? That should be 18.9 when it comes in, and that's coming in at the right size. Brilliant. Just check those boxes. Is it something with the boxes? That's so strange. Right, so again, decide, make as many as you like. You might even find it, if you want to really make a note of which is which size, to cut one at once. So choose the biggest leaf, decide you want to make, I don't know, 8 of it, and send 8, and then you know that that sheet that you've cut is all the big leaves. Otherwise, I'm just duplicating there. Obviously, if this was me cutting, I would have been moving these about to try and make it a bit more economical. You can do this here, or you can do it on the canvas, obviously. And then if you look for the number that I wanted to make, I'm pretty sure you would get those 3 on the other mat just by clicking on those 3 dots there, clicking move, confirming that mat, and there it is, and you'd bring it in, and the other 2 would clearly fit on. So there you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 leaves on one mat. One sheet of 12 by 12. Oops, no, didn't want to cut. Yes, I do want to cancel. Cancel. Right, so that's that one. That's leaf A. Upload. I'm going to bring it in again. Leaf B. And there we go. That's that one. Again, I've only brought in one of these because if you read the instructions, you'll see I talk about how many leaves you might want to cut, what kind of effect you might want to achieve with your display. So again, you'll just decide, duplicate these up, send them. Let's go say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They fit nicely on a 12 by 12, but if you wanted to cut more, lots of space to maybe do that and move those together. So you can see that you can be much more economical with your cuts. Again, I'm not going to cut that one. That was B. We'll bring in C just so you can have a look at it. Leaf C. This is sort of a eucalyptus type. Quite like this one. This looks really nice in the display actually. And again with these, you can make them bigger or smaller just depending on how you want your display to look. Oops. Don't know where that went. There we go. That should come in at, yeah, that's coming at the right size as well. I think I might be going crazy. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm pretty sure they'll fit. Yeah, easily. Get lots on a sheet of 12 by 12 doors. I have decided, having made a couple of these displays now, that I always cut loads of leaves because they'll be there for the next project that you do, especially if you're making just a general, proper flower colours, leaf colours display rather than a blue and white one like I made for one of mine. So that's all the leaves. Quickly bring the stamens in, just show you those. You get two different kinds of these. Doesn't really matter which you choose, just when you see them, you might decide that you like one a bit more than the other. These are a very complex cut. My Explorer makes a beautiful job of it. My maker doesn't like it quite so much. Again, you can make those bigger or smaller. I think they're pretty good at this size. That's come in at the right sizes. Oh, no, it hasn't. Yes, it has. Yeah, 1 centimetre wide. Brilliant. So that is style 1. I'll bring in style 2. Show you that as well. Yeah, so you get a slightly longer piece for that, but it doesn't really matter. If I can just zoom in. So you can see that one's got that interesting shape on the end, whereas this one is just sort of little oval, elongated shapes. But they both look lovely. They're both very effective. As I say, they are a complex cut. You might notice on photographs for my blue and white display that I actually just used beads for the centre of my flowers that matched the colour of the box the display was in. I thought that looked really effective. And again, I talk in the instructions that you get about the different things you can use for the flower centres with this method of flower assembly. Right, that's the whole SVG. I hope that helps. If it's raised any questions for you, please do get in touch via Etsy or Facebook. I'm always happy to help. If you just stumbled across this long and rambling video on YouTube and you'd like to buy the SVG or at least have a look at it on Etsy, the link is in the description below. Thanks a lot. Bye.